Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Update video on this. My VFC KAC KS-1, the Knights Armament KS-1, the L4030A1, or L4030A1, probably something like that. Anyway guys, this is a review the first time after I actually used it. This video is going to be giving you some like ideas of like how it is and how it was when I was using it, but also giving you a comparison of two different suppressors that I have for it. I'm also going to do like a little test of shooting it in its current state, and then I actually have a Marksman KAC style recoil buffer for carbine stock, so I'm going to put in there, and we're going to see what the actual difference is in terms of recoil performance, and we'll get an idea if it's worth changing it over. But guys, basically I had this out last night. I'm going to start working as I chat to you so you can kind of not just be bored and look at my face talking. I had this out last night and it was pretty awesome. I actually didn't intend to use it. I was playing at Battle Lab in Ontario, like east side of LA. And I'm going to put this acro on first. I actually took this off last night because I don't have a lens protector for it. My friend was borrowing it. He was like, can you just remove that? Because I don't really want to get it shot out and kind of make you cry. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. So yeah, I went and played there. And actually my friend, it was his birthday. Brandon, shout out to Brandon. Happy birthday. He said to me actually at the start, he was like, hey, could you bring your APFG Spear LT, the 11.5 inch that I have. I'd love to use that tonight if possible. I said, it's your birthday, 100% I'll bring that for you. And I actually ended up bringing it. And if you follow the channel, you may have seen that I actually did a repair video on that replica, probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. The nozzle was just getting stuck in the bolt carrier group. And so in the video, what I did is I took a stock VFC nozzle and I replaced it, changed it out. It seemed to be working great. Now, it didn't break, which is probably what you're expecting from this story of me starting it. We actually did the chrono at the start of the night and it was firing at like 460 on a 0.25. So like insanely heavy. And I was looking at it, I'm like, I've chronoed this gun before. This gun does not fire hot. It fires like 398, like on with 0.2s. It's like on the dot 400. Like this is kind of how I use it, and this is great. And then I remembered, oh wait, I changed that nozzle out, and it was a stock VFC nozzle. It wasn't an aftermarket one. It wasn't anything like that. Didn't have an end pass in it because I didn't think I'd need it. It was going to be an outdoor gun, and it was firing at 460. So unfortunately, had to turn around and say, sorry, mate, you can't use that. But I'd actually brought this along just because another one of my friends there is really interested in it and was like, hey, I'd love to like, you know, just see it. So I brought it along, and he actually then ended up using this because I didn't want him to, on his birthday, not have something to play with. So he took out the KS-1 in an indoor field, CQB field. I was like, mate, it's going to be too long for you. We actually put a tracer on it. We put one of these on here. You know, if you see some of the footage and I'll be posting it, you'll probably hate me, but I basically had this Strike Industries tracer on the end of it, which looked very, very strange because really the KS-1 should have one of these guys on here. But he started using it and fell in love with it. He was like, this thing is awesome. I could hear it from where he was. Like, I'll use a shotgun and they're loud, etc. This probably isn't quite as loud as my Sega 12s, but this is a very, very loud replica. I mean, when it's firing, it's super loud, it's super snappy, and he wasn't really aiming using the LPVO, but it was shooting so straight, and we had the tracer on it, that he was actually just getting a lot of kills with it. And by the end of the night, he was like, I really like that thing. So it performed really well. I actually picked it up at the end of the night. I switched out with him. I was using the, what do you call it? The Maruyama SPC9, which I really, really like. I was using that and my Groza, my ITP kit on the Sega 12 SBS Groza. I really, really like both those guns. And at the end, he was like, hey, do you want to try this out before the end of the night? And I was like, yeah, actually I do, just because I've been seeing you having so much fun with it. And I have to say it's long, especially with the tracer on it or with one of these guys on it, it's going to be something long, but it was super, super fun. Like shooting it, just the actual recoil impulse of it. I'll show you guys now quickly so you have you know, you're hearing me talking about this. Charlie's sitting here. He's like wanting to come up and say hi. You hear me talk about it. You probably just want to hear how loud it is. So I'll show you now, and this will be a good comparison for when we change the bolt out and we see if we can make it a harder firing replica. But it's just very, very, I mean, you can hear that there. Like it really like kind of rings in your ear when it fires. It's got this kind of clack to it, which is very, I think, reminiscent of the usual VFC kind of style gas blowback ARs. Like it just feels really, really good. So basically, guys, so far I'm just really happy with it. Obviously, I couldn't really test range with it because it was an indoor field. But in terms of consistency, didn't jam once, didn't malfunction. Fed every single BB. I was using these mags, which are the new ones, mixed with the older VFC mags, just the black version, still the like Gen V3, Gen 3, whatever you call it. But every single BB in the entire night fed. We didn't get one jam, one mag that misfed. So it was just very, very, very reliable, like the entire time. Again, probably wouldn't be my pick for a CQB sight, but I have to say, it performed flawlessly. So really, really good start with this. I am kind of slowly falling more and more in love with it, if that's possible. One thing I have noticed, there is some movement now between the upper and the lower. So it's not really, I say that and it's not actually giving me any movement. Okay, so you can see here, if I twist it hard, you can see there's a give there between the upper and the lower, just on that seam. I noticed it if I almost like shift it like this. If I've got this in the bottom and I give it like a little wiggle, you can kind of hear that there. But other than that, it really is, it's very, very minimal. In fact, you know what I should do? When we put the buffer in, I might try and put this in, which is like a APFG AcQ Wedge. We'll see if that fits because it technically is VFC as well. Okay, Charlie, you can come up for like 1 second. Okay, he's here. Again, he's probably bigger than when you guys saw him last. He's literally just growing and growing and growing. And he's very, very cute little dog. Okay, so basically, guys, what I'm going to talk about today is this, which arrived yesterday. Now, this is the VFC KAC QDC MCQ. I'm trying to, what they actually call it. Let's like find that out for you. And then, you know, we're not giving you that. They call it the VFC KAC QDC. So it's the quick detach suppressor, which will basically go onto the front of this. Now it looks really, really good. And I think that that is what the actual replica is supposed to look like. If you've watched previous videos again, you may have seen that I've been using this one. Now, this is actually from FCW, which I think is like a offshoot of Octagon. It's like one of their in-house brands. But basically, I couldn't get hold of one of the VFC ones. I was trying to order one for a really, really long time. It was like delayed and you just couldn't get hold of one. So I ended up ordering one of these, and this apparently is suppressor ready. However, if you've, tracer ready. If you have watched previous videos, you've probably realized like I couldn't find a tracer that actually fit in this. I think I have found which one will go in here and I've ordered it. So just as I've like ordered it and got it ready, I've now got a new version and the color on this one fits this a lot better. But this is, I think it's the 5KU BBP32. So it's a little module and apparently it's going to go in here. So that's on order. Hopefully that comes. When it comes, I will put it in there and I'll show you guys what I think it's going to look like or if it works. But this thing is really good. Like it's a great actual suppressor. It goes on here, tightens up. I think it looks phenomenal. Like that's what the KS-1 really should look like. And I just really, really like it. The only issue that I have with this, obviously other than finding a trace that's going to fit in there, is the color difference. Now, with Charlie doing a little shimmy shimmy, you can probably see here that it's just a slight tone darker. It's not bad. And to be honest, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, why are you making an issue? Because it really isn't that bad. But the VFC one finally came and this arrived yesterday. Now, I'm a little bit mixed on this, I have to say. Number one, big issue for me is there's no trades on it. You can see here, this is the trades that I have on the FCW version right here. It's got the Knights Armament stuff. You can see the difference in color. This one on the bottom is the VFC. So that is it's the same tone as this. So it's going to look better because it's exactly the same paint. And this is the kind of look that I've been going for, even though I've now got multicolored optics on the top here. Like really what I wanted to do was get it looking as like khaki green as possible. So that's my first thing. There's no actual trades on it, which is weird because there are trades fully on the actual replica. Like they've got the Knights Armament logo, they've got Stoner Rifle written here, they've got the Royal Marines dagger on the back here. They've gone to all of this effort and then they haven't actually put any trades on here. Maybe that's because the contract for the Royal Marines, like the UK forces, didn't have, like they decided not to put branding on their actual suppressors. I don't know. But that's one thing that I didn't like. The other thing, just straight away when I saw it, which I didn't like as much, is if you look at the writing on the back here on these silver areas, this one is the one from FCW, and this one says seat pin in notch, P. I don't know what it says on the real one. This says exactly the same, but it's almost in like a kind of burnt style writing. It's just not nearly as kind of like refined as that one. Now this might be a lot closer to what the real thing is like. Like this one is definitely a bit more kind of bright and maybe it's, you know, not as realistic, but it just looks a little bit too, I don't know, maybe it is nicer to have it that way. When I first saw it though, I was like, hey, I'm not sure I like this as much. The other thing to notice is the actual little seating pin, this like round thing here, which basically holds the shroud cover on top. It is black on the VFC one. It is the same color in paint on this. These are a nightmare to get out. Like I think you can do it with needle nose pliers, which I thought I brought out here, but I don't know where I've put them. I don't actually really want to remove it. But you basically just have to grip them, pull them together, and then you can kind of lift it out. And I haven't actually done it on the FCW one, but I have done it on the VFC one last night because I literally got this, arrived in the mail as I showed up, or sorry, as I was leaving to go to the site, threw it in my car, got to the Battle Lab site, and right next to it is actually an e-bike outpost, like a very small e-bike store. So I was like, oh, if I can buy a tracer that's going to fit in this, that's fantastic, and I can run it like this. I couldn't work out how to get the inside piece open. And looking online, it doesn't really indicate that you can put a tracer in here. So I've got a feeling that it's not possible. I took the inside suppressor out of the actual heat shield kind of cover, shroud, and I couldn't remove the end cap. On this one, you can remove the end cap, which I've done in previous videos, you may have seen. But this end cap here will actually just come off like it would do on a normal tracer unit or a suppressor with a tracer inside it. So it's a bit of a nightmare to do it. When it's on, it's a lot easier. But that piece will come off the top. It has a barrel extension inside, which you can then hopefully, when the actual the tracer arrives, you can just remove that and then put your tracer inside there. It doesn't seem like that's possible with the VFC one. So I was a bit like, I don't know. It's just not as, it's kind of annoying, to be honest. Because if I've got that on there, I do want it for the look, and I think it really should have been included in the price for the actual replica. Even if they made it more expensive, just like include it, because it's such a big part of this actual replica. Like when you see a KS-1, that's how you recognize it, with the suppressor on it. It's not like seeing like a regular kind of, you know, M4 or something where yes, you see them with suppressors, yes, you see them without suppressors. Like this is a, you know, it's a suppressed replica or suppressed real steel that you want to see that on. So there is some slight differences in the end cap. Like the actual VFC one just looks a bit smaller. Like this just looks a little bit more petite. This is a lot kind of bigger and bulkier, but not a huge difference in that. Proportions wise, they're basically the same. I think I think it's the FCW one is slightly bigger, like just slightly taller, maybe a couple of millimeters taller, really not noticeable. And then the price is also pretty big. Like for this one here, the VFC, you're going with $87. That's before shipping and you're having to order it from abroad. With the FCW, and I'll put links to both of these suppressors down below, sorry. This one is $115, and I think that's with the tracer. Let me just make sure I'm getting the right. It's $115 if you want it with the tracer included. I think it's the same. No, it's $115 without the tracer. So I don't know. I think the tracer is probably about $40, $50 on top of that to put it in there. But obviously that's like a, you know, leave it or take it. Now, the one thing, again, that probably this is the main thing that annoyed me. The VFC comes with, a flash hider, which is great. It actually is, let me check if it's the same as the flash hider that comes with the actual replica. I'm just going to be one sec. Okay, so this is the one that comes with the tracer unit or the, the suppressor. And then this is the one that comes with the replica out of the box. They, to me, look almost identical. One's slightly shinier, but in terms of like dimensions, what they are, I think they're exactly the same. So it's basically just giving you another version of this. Now, my main issue, Charlie, stop, thank you. My main issue, which I actually mentioned at the time when I first got it, was like, there's no grub screw to hold this in place. Now, you may think like, oh, well, that's not a big deal, is it? Well, when you're putting this on there, and this is a QD, how these work is that you've got this sliding on, this notch is going to line up right here with this. So it's going to sit there, and then you're needing to rotate it. And you're rotating it in a clockwise fashion, which means that for a counterclockwise, that's going to be undoing the actual thread. So it gets to a point where you tighten it and then suddenly you start undoing the other one, and it's just a really annoying play. So unless you can secure that flash hider in place, and I don't think you necessarily want to glue it on, that's going to be an issue. And so I don't know why, but they have not supplied an actual like flash hider with that on there. Now the FCW comes with a very similar flash hider. This is the one from the FCW. Very similar. It's slightly more gray. It's kind of got a base to it, which this one doesn't. This one's just a flat sawn off kind of piece. But other than that, again, very, very similar. There's a little bit less, there's less space in between the lines that are going around here. These are slightly larger kind of gaps in between these lines, or slightly larger bands that are going between. But when I got it, I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. I'm going to have to literally be playing around with putting it on, putting it off, put it on, put it off. Before the video though, I actually tested it and the VFC one will fit on this. So it sits on, and weirdly, like this actually will like kind of screw up a bit more without any pressure. Then you'll hear it engage and it'll lock. Whereas the other one almost feels like you're kind of crunching it in a bit more. But this will lock on here. So that really doesn't help you probably that much if you're watching this, like which one should I buy? Because you'd have to spend $115 basically just to get this flash hider with a grub screw in it to then go and put the VFC one if you want on there. But you can see the color on that is pretty flush. One thing that I have noticed though is that the gap here, you can see there, it's not a big gap, but the gap between the handrail and the actual suppressor on the VFC, and this could be more because I'm using this flash hider, is a larger gap than when I put that on. There's a big gap and it crunches down. You can see what I mean with the crunch. And then that seems to be a slightly tighter gap that you have right there between that. And I kind of prefer it being tighter. For me, that kind of just looks a bit cooler, but obviously then I've got the color. So that's going to be kind of my overview of this, guys. I am going to do something in a future video where I'm going to actually try and remove the outer cover, the heat shield, from the FCW and put the VFC one on. Obviously, as I said, you don't have the markings, which you do have on the FCW, but I do want that color just to kind of match a bit better. although it really isn't that noticeable. Like, I don't know if you can see from there, it's probably not as easy. Let me do this for you, Charlie. We do this and then you guys can see here. That's the kind of difference. You can see these are exactly the same. This one's slightly darker. But that's kind of like the difference that you're going to have. So I kind of want to take the heat shield off this and change it out and see if it'll fit on top of that suppressor. But we'll have to see. Okay, so right, what we're going to move on to, guys, now is this, which is this Marksman KAC style recoil buffer. I'm actually going to find out the price of this for you guys as well. I got this from ProAct or Action Airsoft online. And the price on it, I'll put a link to this as well so you guys can get this if we think it's good. I think I've had very mixed outcomes with changing stuff like this out. You know, you change out the bolt and it's like, oh, it's better and it's firing nicer, but then it just doesn't wear as well. And like in a month, it's just like broken because something's like not sitting. There is a reason that they've designed these replicas as they have with the parts that they've put in them. And they've worked well like that. It's like the TMMWS. It's the same thing. You start messing around with the parts in it. You may make it better, you may make it worse, or you may make it better for a little bit of time, and then it will start to get worse or you'll break things in it. This recoil buffer, I think, is a little less of an issue with that. I've just put Marksman, which is probably the dumbest thing to search. So we are Marksman KAC style. So what I expect with this is it's not going to do much except hopefully give a bit more recoil, which is very unnecessary. But it's still going to be very cool if we get this going. Why can't I find it? I've written KAC style, then we go recoil buffer. Let's go Marksman recoil buffer. But I've got a feeling it was maybe $30, $40. Okay, 25. So it's 25 bucks for this. I'll do a comparison now. We'll do a little unboxing so you can see it. Charlie's very interested in what it is. Yeah, it's $24.42. They're in Taiwan, so I presume that's like a more round number in Taiwan dollars. They have done a little orange wrap around it for me, which is very, very easy to remove. It's got four 5-star reviews. As you can see here, it's got like a recoil weight inside it that it's going. And what I really like is this. You've got that Knights Armament branding on the end of it, which I think just looks very, very cool. With a 20387 serial number. I think that is on all of them because the one in the picture that I'm looking at right here has the exact same number on it. So that's what I would expect. But what I'm going to do is I'll quickly fire this again, just so that you guys can kind of get an idea of it. And then what I'm going to do is take the two buffers out. We'll compare them on the camera and then I'll fire the replica with this in it and we'll see if we can notice any difference. You may need to like fast forward and rewind it as we're going. But this is the replica firing with the stock buffer weight, recoil buffer. So that's what it sounds like with that. Now we're gonna open this bad boy up. Charlie's desperately trying to get back in here. Now this is not a bad one. It looks like it's not like your, shoot it off. It's not like your MWS recoil buffer, which is the, you know, the stock kind of plastic horrible thing. This one actually is metal. It's very greasy and it does have a recoil like moving weight in it, but it's almost like it's just on that end. Please don't, bud. No, don't eat my camera, my microphone. But it's kind of nice. Weight wise, this is maybe slightly heavier, but it's not a big difference. It does feel just a lot more kind of slick. The movement of the weights, like similar. You can hear that there. That's slightly louder. A little bit more refined kind of noise. The end caps on here are the same. Obviously, you've got one which has the branding on it. So what we're going to do Let's put this guy in this spring. Put this back in here. Let me make sure that's lined up. Okay. And that's what that's going to look like right there, which I think looks really, really cool. It definitely is pretty awesome. I'll line it up so it's straight, but that's probably not going to stay there. This is where actually I can put in this Acu wedge, which is right here. So these Acu wedges I love, or I've put them into a few of my replicas where there's any play between the upper and the lower. It basically just puts like a little bungee trampoline rubber kind of dampener underneath the rear locking pin. Charlie, you're not making this any easier, mate. Now losing it in here. Charlie, please stop. Okay, it's now, I've also got grease on my hand, so I've turned this into a nightmare. Now this is designed for the APFG, so I've put them into my MWSs before, but when I've put them into the MWS, I've actually, I don't know if that's going to fit, to be honest. We'll have a try, but I don't think that's going to fit. When I've put it into the MWSs, I've actually had to just cut them down slightly, but that's how it would sit. These are on real steel replicas as well. I've bought real ones and then tried to use them on stuff. And actually, this will fit. So that goes in. And it does, it's removed anything. So that does help. So that is an APFG Acu wedge, which you can get. I got that one probably from WGC, I think. I'll see if I can put a link to that as well, but it might be something I forget to do because that's just what I end up doing. But that now, I mean, it felt really solid before, but it just feels even more solid now. Okay, so let's test this out and see what the recoil is like, if it's changed it at all or if it's exactly the same. I think it's just making a slightly different noise. I don't know if it's me or... I really don't think it makes a massive difference. Like, I think it hits hard enough as it is that you're not going to notice a huge difference unless you're putting some serious like piece of steel in there. It's just a great replica. So that's going to be my like overview of this, guys. I'm just going to quickly finish this mag. 1 second, my kid. Sorry, that was very cute. My little boy needed to borrow a screwdriver. Okay, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this mag. I'll probably do some full auto, even though he's standing out there and he's probably like, what's that noise? Oh, and now the door's going. 1 second. Yeah, it was the Amazon man. Okay, right. So I'm just going to finish this up quickly just so you guys can see this thing fire full auto. And then I'll finish up the video. Okay. Well, that was... Oh, did we get a misfire? That was weird. That didn't cycle. Okay, there we go. So that was weird. That just kind of like it almost didn't misfire, didn't misfeed. There was a BB in there, but for some reason that just didn't fire fully. All right, guys, so that is me and my little update on this thing. I will be doing like more of a range update. Only upgrades I think I'm going to be doing is putting a hot rubber in here, potentially an inner barrel. And then we're going to kind of run it as it is. The bolt, everyone seems to be obsessed with, or it's that new system, which I don't really want to mess with. I do really want to kind of get this in the same color, but that's going to be a bit difficult. And I need to get a cover just to put on the end of this acro because it's too expensive to lose it and smash it. But thanks, guys. I'll see you very soon. And if it was me, I would probably buy the FCW one, spend a bit more money and get the trades, get the tracerability, and also get a grub screw in the actual flash hider. See you all soon. Goodbye.